All right. Good evening, everyone. It is March the 12th, 2024, approximately 7:18 p.m. I am Delegate Nicole Williams, and this is the Public Safety Subcommittee for the House Judiciary Committee. We have three bills on our agenda for this evening. The first bill is House Bill 404, Law Enforcement Wellness Checks Requirements, Gabriel's Law. And we have with us the bill sponsor, Delegate Jamila Woods. I also see Ron Young here on behalf of the Prince George's County Executive's Office. We were also looking for Elizabeth Hilliard from the Maryland Office of the Public Defender. I don't know if she's here yet, as well as Andrea Mansfield from the Maryland Chiefs and Sheriffs Association. And so we'll go ahead and get started. I know Delegate Woods, you have an amendment to this bill. And so I just want to first make sure we have the correct amendment to the bill. And so the one I have in front of me is 833520/1.
That is correct.
Okay, and so this is the one that strikes, now the one I have strikes out law enforcement and replaces it with public safety.
That's correct.
Okay, all right, I have the right amendment. Great. I just wanted to make sure. And so I believe all of the members of the subcommittee should have received this amendment and the reprint. Did everyone get that? Okay. And so Delegate Woods, I don't know if you want to talk about the bill and the amendment. I know during your testimony, you had mentioned that this amendment was forthcoming to address some of the concerns that were raised by the Chiefs and Sheriffs Association in the county executive's office. So
yes, so we heard all of the proposed amendments, and we did apply the amendments. As you see, we took out law enforcement from the title and we've replaced it with public safety. We also took out, another concern was that the wording, using the wording immediate. And so we changed the wording from immediate to a reasonable time frame. We also did keep in language about a life-threatening injury so that we know that, of course, that would be a prioritized response. There was one more thing. I'm sorry, I'm not looking at it. Oh, we also changed to identify who responders would be. So in addition to law enforcement, we added EMS, firefighters, emergency, which is why we changed the title to public safety. That's pretty much a wrap up of the amendments.
okay. Okay, thank you so much for just paraphrasing the amendments, and it does sound like it addresses the concerns, but I don't know, Mr. Young, if you wanted to comment about the amendments and just to confirm that that satisfies the county's concerns.
Correct. Thank you, Madam Chair, and I would like to also thank the bill sponsor. I know we've been working closely on this and brought the concerns that I think the amendment does clarify for us. I know that our concern was making sure that our fire and EMS are part of this process, well, as they do play an integral part of our wellness check and our process. But that also that there was some clarity around the emergency response times and how that falls in our priority and that definition there. And then making sure that, the entities that do direct those calls are able to be a part of this process. In the county, that's going to be our public safety communications agency that will direct those calls to either our police or our EMS, and making sure that, when we get those calls, that the right agency in the county can respond, which is not always a law enforcement activity. And so with that, we talked to our police department today, and these amendments do clear up any concerns that we had from the county side.
Great, great, great. I'm also looking for Andrea Mansfield or someone from the Maryland Chiefs and Sheriffs Association.
Hi, Delegate Natasha Mayu here on behalf of Manus Canning and the Chief
Sheriff's yes, hi Natasha.
So yes, thank you so much. We did review the amendments, and the amendments also address all of the Chiefs and Sheriffs concerns. Primarily, they were the response time, but the amendments really do give a more thorough process for this bill. So we are supportive of the bill as amended.
Okay, thank you. And I see Ms. Hilliard here from the Office of the Public Defender. I know you all had some separate concerns, Ms. Hilliard, and hopefully you had a chance to talk with Ms. Wood since, Delegate Wood, sorry, since the bill hearing. You're muted, Ms. Hilliard.
Sorry, we have not, I apologize. Had a chance to talk to the delegate about our concerns.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think these amendments address our concerns, as our concern is largely that there's any codification of a law enforcement response as opposed to a mental health response for the
Right.
wellness check. Yeah.
No, and I get that, and I do remember seeing that in your testimony. I guess the concern that I have, there are some jurisdictions that do have mental health response teams, but they're not universal in every jurisdiction. Is, I guess, kind of one of my concerns I have with, you know, kind of the requirement you all would like to see. I understand why you're seeking that. And I think that was one of the reasons why there was the amendments. And I don't know if you had a chance to look at the amendments, but modifying that from law enforcement to just public safety as a whole to encompass kind of the EMS and other public safety partners that can also participate when these types of wellness checks are requested, for that, to try to bring a more holistic response to the situation. So, Delegate Woods, I see you have your hand up.
Yeah, so basically, when we made it public safety, it encompasses all responses, but it's important to know that 988 is specifically designated. It's not just a suicide hotline, but 988 addresses the mental health. This bill, if you remember, when we first brought it in, didn't even mention mental health. We talked about a physical illness, a physical ailment. So to just say that you have somebody to come out that addresses mental health, when in fact, the example that we gave is of a response to a physical illness, a physical life-threatening illness. Again, 988 is already in position to address to address mental health. It is not just a suicide line. It is to address mental health issues. So that's already established.
Got it. Okay. Let me open it up to let me do this. We have an amendment before the committee. Let us, I guess, deal with the amendment first, and let's see if there's some additional discussion. Can I get a motion on the amendment?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All right, any discussion? If any members of the committee have any questions or anything else?
Madam Chair,
Yes, Delegate Tolles.
thank you. Is it possible to go over what the amendment, I'm trying to read it now, but it may be faster to just, it's pretty lengthy, it's 3 pages. I support Delegate Woods' bill, so I support the amendment. It comes from her, but
Yeah, I see Claire has her hand up. Hi, Claire.
thank you.
Are you the counsel we're on House Bill 404?
Yes, I'm the counsel on all these bills, and I apologize for being late. I just got out of the criminal law meeting. I thought they were gonna let you all know.
Sorry,
case
I wasn't aware of that.
Common. Yeah,
Criminal
sorry
law.
about that.
No worries.
Yeah, we just finished, maybe some other members just coming in. So anyway, House Bill 4, I just wanted to know what bill you're on. House Bill 404.
Yes. And was wondering, are you able to kind of give a summary, Claire, of the amendments that we have?
Are those being placed up on the screen?
We can place them up on the screen. The amendment number that I have, let me go back, scroll up on my computer here. It's amendment 8, House Bill 0404/833-520/1. And, are we able to put that amendment up on the screen, or actually, can I share my screen? That might be easier since I have it up on my computer. Let me do that. I think this is it. Oops, that's not it. Oh, can you see it there?
Yes.
Okay.
Although it's not, I can't scroll it.
I can scroll
So
down. Let me know where you want me to.
I'm not sure who submitted these, but it's adding a definition of interested party, which means a healthcare practitioner or other interested person who has sufficient information to inform a law enforcement agency of another individual's health-related condition or circumstance that represents a life-threatening emergency. They're modifying the definition of qualified request to be an oral or written request that includes credible information regarding a specific concern of a life-threatening condition. And then they're specifying that the request has to be from an interested party as defined above. And the law enforcement agency shall conduct a wellness check of the individual without unreasonable delay. And then it looks like it's just duplicating this whole
Mm-hmm.
provision in another statute.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's my sense as well. Okay. Does that answer, does that help everyone? I know Delegate Tolles, you wanted a summary of that. Okay.
Thank you. Yes, that was helpful.
All right. Let's see here. I can stop sharing. Maybe that might be easier. Well, it'll be easy for me to see everyone. Okay. All right. Are there any other questions? For members of the committee? Delegate Valentine.
Thank you, Madam Chair. It seems like the same thing written twice. Do we need to write it, or could we have done it as public safety as a broad spectrum instead of doing one for law enforcement and then one for fire and EMS? Was there a reason for that?
Delegate Woods?
That was basically what the FOP, the Federal Order of Police and Law Enforcement, wanted to outline both law enforcement and to outline other emergency services, as was previously discussed. They wanted to make sure it was in the bill that it could be other emergency services.
I understand. I think that's a great idea. I just was wondering why it had to be the same wording put in twice and why we couldn't just capture it. That was my only question. Understood though. Thank
Okay.
you.
All right, thank you. All right, any other questions or concerns regarding the amendment? All right, hearing none, I guess we'll take a vote on the amendment. All those in favor of, and Claire, I see you still had your hand up. I don't know if there was anything else you wanted to add before we vote on the amendment.
No, sorry, I forgot to lower my hand, but I could also say that I can look into why the language is duplicated and maybe think of some way that we could, make it apply to both situations and not have to duplicate the language. I can look into that later.
Okay. All right. All right, so seeing no other questions, all those in favor of the amendment, just please raise your hand. Okay. Anyone opposed to the amendment? Okay, it seems like the amendment passes. Now on the bill, if I can get a motion on the bill as amended.
Move favorable.
Second.
All right, it's been moved in second. Is there any discussion on the bill as amended or any questions? Delegate Conway.
I can't get my hand down.
Okay, no worries. Anyone else have any questions or comments? All right, seeing none, we'll move forward with a vote on the bill as amended. Delegate Conway,
Yes.
Delegate Crutchfield,
Yes.
Delegate Munoz is excused. Delegate Pastor,
Yes.
Delegate Phillips,
Yes.
Delegate Schmidt,
Okay.
Delegate Schmidt.
Hello?
Conway, we can hear you. I already got you down, Delegate Conway. All right, we'll come back to Delegate Schmidt. I know he was in the middle of something. Next is Delegate Simpson.
Yes.
Okay. Delegate Taylor,
I vote yes.
Delegate Tolles,
Yes.
huh?
Can you hear me? Oh, sorry, I
Okay.
was still on mute.
Yes,
I
there we
vote,
go.
oh, thank you. I vote, yes.
Okay. Delegate Tomlinson
Yes.
and Delegate Valentine.
Yes.
All right, and Delegate Schmidt. Okay, he might have had to step away for a second. Okay, so the bill is voted favorable with amendment. Thank you all so much. Thank you, Delegate Woods.
Thank
and
you all.
all those who are here.
Thank you so much. Appreciate you.
Oh, you're welcome.
Take
You
care.
are
Bye-bye.
welcome. Bye-bye. Okay. All right, the next bill that we have before us is House Bill 1081. This is Delegate Phillips, Public Safety Automatic License Plate Readers, Captured Plate Data. And I know Delegate Phillips is here. We also have Natasha Mayu, you're here, as well as I think I saw Kathy Kelly, Miss Kelly, I think I saw earlier today from the Maryland State Police.
Yes, ma'am.
And so I know there are amendments on this bill as well. Delegate Phillips, I have in front of me amendment for House Bill 1081/573/523/1. Is that the correct amendment?
That is the correct amendment.
Okay, if you want to, either, if you want to explain the amendments, that would be great.
So the amendment does a number of things. One, it inserts data. After data, it talks about storage and upload, which is the right language to use for this type of information. It addresses one of the concerns that the state police had in terms of whose data it actually was and when it would be appropriate to share that data only with the permission of the law enforcement agency. It addresses not the inability for the contractor to access that data unless it is expressly provided by the law enforcement agency. Basically, all of these kind of address the concerns, I believe, that the state police had and other agencies may have raised. It also talks about what happens if, in fact, someone else gets access, the reporting associated with employees of the firm accessing data and keeping track of employees that may access data. Hopefully I did a good job of kind of summarizing everything that was in there. And I just need to remind folks that primarily the objective of this bill, right now, everything must be loaded on a physical server, physically located at a law enforcement agency site. Given the technology that exists today, primarily the objective is to allow this to be housed in the cloud.
Great, 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 great. And so I see your hand up, Miss Kelly. I want to see if we can get a motion and a second on the amendment, and then we can go into discussion on the amendment.
Move the amendment.
Is there a second?
Yes, I can second.
Okay. Ms. Kelly, I see you have your hand up.
Good afternoon, or good evening.
Yes.
Good evening.
It's been a long day.
Yes.
So the Senate version of this bill was voted on in JPR today with this set of amendments, but with some additional amendments. And Madam Chair, I did email the slight changes that are necessary for Maryland State Police to have in the law, because it does affect the way in which we operate. We are very supportive of moving forward in the technologically advanced world that we're in. However, we do have standards and requirements we have to meet. And the language that I set forward is very necessary for us to be able to comply with our auditing standards, as well as restrict the use of the information appropriately.
Okay. Claire, do you have the amendments that were passed out of JPR today by chance?
I do not have those actual amendments. I have an email from Ms. Kelly with some suggested language to be inserted, but I don't have an official amendment document.
I did share with that email to the chair and staff that Senator Sidnor's staff has said that committee staff was supposed to have incorporated our amendments into the bill in committee. But if for some reason that didn't happen in a timely fashion, that Senator Sidnor is going to offer the amendments on the floor.
Okay.
So those amendments did not make it into, I'm sorry, Madam Chair.
It's okay, Delegate Phillips.
So those amendments did not make it into the Senate's bill that was passed?
Ms. Kelly? Oh, it looks like she's having some connectivity issues. Give it 1 second.
Had a technical issue. I hope you can hear me now.
Yes, we can hear you
Yes.
now, Ms. Kelly. Yes.
So Senator Sidnor's chief of staff couldn't confirm. Of course, JPR's voting list, just like judiciary's, is super long. And he just did share with me that if committee staff was unable to get them on the bill in committee, that they would happen on the floor. Senator Sidnor would offer them on the floor.
Okay. So it sounds like the bill got voted out of JPR today. And is going, I guess, to second reader on the Senate side. Okay.
And the amendments mirrored the amendments that Delegate Phillips has presented to the committee.
Oh, so they are the exact amendments. I
Right.
guess.
So I just want to make sure, Ms. Kelly, the amendments that I've offered address the concerns that the Maryland State Police had, correct?
Almost. I sent an email, and sir, I can forward it to you as well. I sent an email. There are on page 2 of the bill, we need a phrase inserted. And on page 4 of the bill, we need report to be replaced with certified, because that has to do with our audit requirements. And we also have to add the unauthorized release of information as one of the qualifying factors in section 5. So, and I've already typed that out. I can go ahead and forward that to you. Hopefully my internet stays okay and I don't get kicked out of the meeting again, but.
If you could forward it, I guess, Madam Chair, procedurally, I have to have an amendment coming either from council on our committee or from the amendments office. Is that?
Yeah,
how this
that is
works?
correct. I think that's correct. Is that correct, Claire?
I mean, it's really up to you. It's just that it's hard for the subcommittee to really know what they're voting on without seeing them, but it's up to you.
If we could post, well, if if I receive them, could we show them?
It's coming to you right now, sir. Hopefully it hit your inbox.
Not yet. There we go.
All right. Because I see an email in my email. But I don't see like a formal amendment.
It's in the body of the email, ma'am.
Oh,
Oh, so it's not a formal amendment, but it's in the
yeah,
body.
that's what I was looking for, like from the
Yeah.
amendment office.
Yeah.
That's what I was looking for.
Yeah, I don't have the
Okay.
I
So
don't have the access you do to the amendment office.
no worries.
Can I
So
please?
procedurally, I guess here's my question. I think maybe this is what we might do. Tomorrow afternoon, I know for judiciary, we have a voting session at 1 o'clock. And I think that's the only thing we have on our calendar for tomorrow. So what we could do, I know tomorrow's Wednesday. I would hate to keep folks after that very long voting session. But maybe what we can do, and I'll double check to make sure it doesn't conflict with any of the other subcommittees, is to meet right after the voting session. And hopefully that'll give us time to have an amendment drafted that mirrors what's coming out of the Senate. Would that work, Delegate Phillips?
That will work, and I'll send it over to the amendments office this evening. I heard the chair tell me not to bother Holly and Claire today, so I will send this out while we're on this call.
Okay, that sounds good. So let's do that. That way all the committee members can also have that in front of them. Because I would want them to make sure that they understand what they're voting on. And we can make sure that we're also in conformance with what may be coming over from the Senate. So I think that might be the best way to maybe proceed for right now. Okay. All right, so we'll hold this until tomorrow, and then we'll just plan to meet right after voting session virtually. Maybe let's do this to give people time to take a little break, potty break if need be. 15 minutes after voting session tomorrow. We'll plan to do that.
Thank you.
All right, so we'll hold House Bill 1081 until tomorrow. Okay. And then the next bill we have on our agenda is House Bill 734. And I do see the bill sponsor here, Baris Miracle North. Delegate Miracle North is here, as well as, let's see, what I'm looking for, Vanita Taylor or someone from OPD. I see Ms. Hilliard's here from OPD. And I do see Ms. Bailey here from MML. And so Ms. Delegate Miracle North, if you want to give us a brief summary about this bill. And I don't have any amendments on this one. I just want to make sure that's correct.
Thank you, Chair. And yes, that is correct. This is, I try to refrain from saying this phrase, but it's a simple bill. I try to say that, but it really is removing one word, and that is vagrancy. Currently, municipalities can prohibit vagrancy, which is another word for homelessness. As I testified at the hearing, it is a very old rule rooted in the way free slaves were treated as a way to try to enslave them again through the criminal justice system by having this law. And there are other means for municipalities to address homelessness, such as affordable housing, or if they want to use the legal tools, nuisance and disorderly conduct, things like that. So that's pretty much what the bill does, removing vagrancy. And I'm happy to answer any questions.
Okay. And Ms. Hilliard, did you want to add anything to hear. I think you guys were favorable with the bill, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, it's a great bill, and the delegate described it perfectly. And the history of vagrancy is outlined more expansively in our written testimony. Our appellate attorney wrote it. It has deep roots in racism and trying to control individuals who had been freed or who were unemployed and Black. So yeah, that we're big fans. Thank you, delegate, for bringing it.
All right. And we have Miss Bailey. Oh, sorry, the other part was cut off. I apologize. Is it Tupari? Is that how you pronounce it?
Upari, yes.
Okay. Miss Bailey Tupari. I know you guys did not weigh in on this bill at the bill hearing, but I invited you here because it is dealing specifically with municipalities. And so wanted to see if MML had a position or anything along those lines, just because I know it's solely related to municipalities. So.
Yeah, well, and thank you, Madam Chair, for that consideration. Good evening, everyone. Angelica Bailey Thupari with the Maryland Municipal League. We do not have a position. I spoke with Delegate Maricu North. Oh my gosh, that must have been over a month ago at this point. You could tell me yesterday or you could tell me 2020 and I believe you. And, you know, we explained we have no position. We did bring this before our legislative committee. Anything that has the word municipality and repeal in it, of course, we're probably going to do that. But our legislative committee opted not to take a position, which is consistent with what we did last year. It's exactly as others have said, you know, yes, it takes away vagrancy, but if vagrancy is the simple act of roaming and lack of permanency, that doesn't pose an inherent threat to public safety or order or, you know, any of those other public interests that local governments are tasked with protecting. So it's the other behaviors that are often associated with it, and we still have the authority to, you know, pursue nuisance, to pursue disorderly conduct. So our legislative committee had no issue with this.
Okay, all right. Delegate Taylor.
Thank you, Madam Chair. This is a really simple bill, and it almost strikes me as too simple. So, question is, does vagrancy only show up, the word vagrancy only show up under the municipality section in the code? Is that the only place?
Delegate, I would venture to say yes, but I would probably defer to Office of Public Defender and because they did a fantastic job summarizing the history of how this law came to be. But that's my only understanding, that it creates power for municipalities to do so.
Awesome. Yeah, but it's just, I'm just curious to know if we'd have to go back and, you know, take vagrancy out someplace else in the code.
Right.
Yeah. Anyway, thank you. It's a great bill.
Ms. Hilliard, did you have a response, or are you aware?
I am double checking, but I do not see it anywhere else in the code.
Okay. Well, let's do this. I don't think we've done a motion in a second. Is there a motion and a second on this bill?
I move favorable.
Second.
Okay. Any further questions or any additional discussion? No questions? Okay, wow. All right, you know, we're usually not a quiet bunch, this judiciary. So this is a little unusual for us. So I just want to make sure. Okay. Well, I don't have any additional questions. I think my questions have been answered and resolved. I guess it's just really a simple bill.
If I may just confirm that it is not, the term vagrant is only used one other place in the code, and it's in reference to a district court judge who tries and commits a vagrant or other offender and permitting them to be assigned to road work. And I believe that is actually also being addressed this session. So
Yeah, in a different bill.
so I don't, just for clarity, the word vagrant is not coming up anywhere else in the code.
Yeah, that's gonna hit the floor tomorrow.
All right, well, not seeing any additional questions or concerns raised one more time. Okay. We have a motion and a second. And so we will go ahead and do a vote on the bill. And so I'll start with Delegate Conway,
Yes.
Delegate Crutchfield,
Yes.
okay. Delegate Munoz is excused, Delegate Pastor. You're muted. It looks like,
Yes.
okay. Delegate Phillips,
Yes.
Delegate Schmidt,
Yes.
okay. Delegate Simpson,
Yes.
Delegate Taylor,
Yes.
Delegate Tolles. Delegate Tolles, you're muted.
Oh, sorry, yes.
Delegate Tomlinson,
Yes.
oh, okay, here he is. Delegate Valentine.
Yes.
All right, so House Bill 0734 move favorable out of committee. Really quick, my lovely staff is always reminding me about the things that I'm always forgetting. I need to go back to House Bill 1081. I need a motion to hold the bill until tomorrow. Can I get a motion in a second?
Move to hold.
Is there a second?
Second.
All right, I guess all in favor, just by a raise of hands, all in favor?
Yes. Conway.
Okay, any opposed? No, okay. All right, so that will be held till tomorrow. And then Delegate Schmidt, I see your hand. I know you were in the middle of something when we were doing House Bill 404. Can I get a motion from the committee to allow Delegate Schmidt to vote on House Bill 404?
Motion to allow Delegate Smith to cast a vote on 404.
Second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, aye. Okay, it looks
Aye.
like that's been approved. Delegate Schmidt, what's your vote on House Bill 404?
I will be voting yes on House Bill 404, please.
Okay,
Thank
wonderful.
you for your patience.
No problem. Okay, well, that's all that we have on our agenda for today. This is probably the fastest meeting we've ever had, but I'm not complaining about it. I guess folks want to go to dinner. Maybe we should have our meetings at 7 o'clock more often. But anyway, thank you all. Delegate Pastor is shaking her head no. I understand, Delegate Pastor. But I think this concludes our meeting of the Public Safety Subcommittee for the House Judiciary Committee. And we will see you all tomorrow afternoon sometime once we're done voting for a quick 30-minute meeting to deal with House Bill 1081. Thank you all so much and